as the day slowly releases its hold and the evening settles in. Imagine lifting your gaze toward the open sky. Somewhere above forests, coastlines, deserts, and cities, birds are moving gently through the air, guided by instinct, memory, and the quiet rhythms of the planet itself. Tonight, we will drift together into that world, exploring bird facts and migration stories in a calm, unhurried way, designed to help your mind soften and your thoughts slow. Birds have shared Earth with us for millions of years. They were here long before modern cities, before global travel, before written history. Yet, they remain close to us, visible from windows, parks, beaches, and quiet countryside paths. Their presence connects nature, geography, and time in a way that feels both ancient and familiar. If you enjoy relaxing educational journeys like this one, you're warmly invited to like and subscribe, but only if it truly brings you comfort. And if you feel like it, you can share your country, your city, and the time you're watching or listening. These small details gently remind us how global this quiet moment really is. Now, let your breathing slow as we begin. Birds are the only living animals with feathers. They regulate temperature, provide waterproofing, and help birds communicate through subtle patterns and colors. This single adaptation allowed birds to spread across nearly every environment on Earth. From icy polar regions to tropical rainforests, there are more than 10,000 known bird species worldwide. Each occupies a specific ecological role, contributing to balance in nature. Some pollinate plants, others control insect populations, and many disperse seeds across vast distances, quietly supporting ecosystems that humans depend on for agriculture, tourism, and natural beauty. Bird flight itself is a masterpiece of efficiency. Wings are shaped to generate lift with minimal energy, allowing birds to glide, soar, or hover depending on their needs. Large birds, like albatrosses, can travel thousands of kilometers over open ocean using wind currents, barely flapping their wings at all. This efficiency has inspired technology in aviation and engineering, influencing aircraft design and fuel-saving innovations. Migration is one of the most remarkable aspects of bird life. Every year, billions of birds travel between breeding and wintering grounds. These journeys are not random. They follow routes refined over countless generations, guided by stars, the sun, Earth's magnetic field, and familiar landmarks like rivers and coastlines. Some birds migrate short distances, moving from higher elevations to lower valleys as seasons change. Others cross continents and oceans. The Arctic tern holds the record for the longest migration, traveling from the Arctic to Antarctica and back each year. Over its lifetime, one bird may fly the equivalent of traveling to the moon and back. Migration is closely linked to geography and climate. Birds move to follow food availability, longer daylight hours, and safer breeding conditions. This natural movement supports global biodiversity and highlights how interconnected ecosystems truly are. Even in urban environments, birds adapt with remarkable flexibility. Pigeons, sparrows, and crows have learned to thrive alongside human infrastructure. They use buildings as nesting sites, streets as foraging grounds, and parks as resting places. Their presence adds a living rhythm to cities shaped by economy, culture, and constant motion. Birdsong is another quiet wonder. Songs are used to attract mates, defend territory, and maintain social bonds. Each species has its own patterns, and individuals often develop unique variations. In the early morning, when sound travels farthest, birds create what is known as the dawn chorus, a natural concert heard around the world. Hearing birdsong has been shown to reduce stress and promote relaxation. This is one reason birds are often associated with calm, reflection, and sleep-friendly environments. Their sounds blend naturally into wellness spaces, luxury eco-resorts, and nature-focused tourism experiences. Bird vision is highly advanced. Many species can see ultraviolet light, revealing patterns on feathers and flowers invisible to the human eye. Raptors, like eagles, can spot small prey from great distances, a skill that has influenced research in optics and visual technology. Despite their light appearance, birds are strong travelers. Their bones are lightweight but reinforced for strength. Hollow structures reduce weight without sacrificing durability, an elegant solution that engineers continue to study today. As we continue this journey, we will explore how birds navigate across oceans, how cultures around the world have honored them, and how migration shapes economies, travel routes, and conservation efforts. Each story will unfold gently, without hurry, allowing you to drift from one idea to the next. For now, imagine a quiet evening sky, painted with soft colors. Somewhere, a bird settles onto a branch after a long day of flight. Its journey pauses, just as yours can. Let your thoughts rest here for a moment. As we continue drifting gently forward, let us travel back in time, far beyond written history, to a world where the first birds slowly took shape. This part of our journey moves through deep time, where patience is measured in millions of years and change unfolds so gradually that it feels almost like stillness. Birds are living descendants of dinosaurs. This fact, once surprising, is now well supported by fossil evidence. Around 150 million years ago, during the late Jurassic period, small feathered dinosaurs began experimenting with gliding and short bursts of flight. One of the most famous transitional fossils, Archaeopteryx, shows a blend of reptilian traits and bird-like feathers, offering a quiet glimpse into evolution in motion. Feathers existed before flight. Early feathers likely evolved for insulation or display, helping small dinosaurs regulate body temperature or attract mates. Over time, these structures became more complex, enabling controlled movement through the air. This gradual adaptation reflects how nature often works, not through sudden leaps, but through small refinements repeated across generations. As continents shifted and climates changed, early birds diversified. They spread across ancient forests, coastlines, and inland seas, adapting to available food sources and habitats. Some became skilled hunters, others seed-eaters, and many developed specialized beaks shaped perfectly for their diets. By the time mammals began to rise, after the extinction of avian dinosaurs, birds were already well established. They had survived mass extinction events by being adaptable, mobile, and efficient with energy. Flight allowed birds to escape danger, explore new environments, and recolonize disturbed landscapes. This adaptability is one reason birds are now found on every continent, including Antarctica. There, species like penguins thrive without flight, using wings adapted into powerful flippers for swimming. Their evolution reminds us that birds are not defined by flight alone, but by a shared ancestry and set of biological traits. Throughout history, birds have influenced human culture and storytelling. Ancient civilizations often saw birds as messengers between worlds, symbols of freedom, or guides for travelers. In many cultures, migratory birds marked the changing seasons, signaling planting and harvesting times that shaped early economies and agricultural systems. In ancient Egypt, birds appeared frequently in art and hieroglyphs, representing both spiritual ideas and everyday life along the Nile. In Greece and Rome, birds were observed closely for omens, reflecting humanity's long habit of watching the sky for meaning. As trade routes expanded and travel connected distant regions, birds became part of shared global awareness. Sailors relied on seabirds to indicate nearby land. Coastal communities learned the rhythms of bird movement, aligning fishing and navigation practices with migration patterns. Medieval scholars began documenting birds more systematically, creating early field guides that combined observation with folklore. While not always scientifically accurate, these works preserved valuable insights into species distribution and behavior. The age of exploration brought new encounters. European travelers described unfamiliar birds from the Americas, Africa, and Asia, expanding knowledge of global biodiversity. These discoveries fueled curiosity and contributed to the early foundations of natural history and education. By the 19th century, scientific study of birds, known as ornithology, became more formalized. Improved optics, careful record-keeping, and global communication allowed researchers to compare species across continents. Migration routes were slowly mapped, revealing astonishing journeys that crossed oceans and deserts. Bird banding, a technique developed in the early 20th century, allowed scientists to track individual birds over time. Small, lightweight bands placed on legs provided data about lifespan, movement, and survival. This method deepened understanding of migration facts and population trends. Advances in technology have since transformed bird research. Satellite tracking, GPS tags, and geolocators now provide precise movement data without disrupting flight. These tools connect biology with modern technology, demonstrating how education and innovation often intersect. From an economic perspective, birds play a vital role in tourism. Birdwatching is a global industry, supporting local economies through travel, guides, and conservation programs. Nature-focused tourism encourages habitat protection, benefiting both wildlife and communities. Birds also act as indicators of environmental health. Changes in migration, timing, or population size can signal broader shifts in climate or ecosystem stability. Monitoring birds helps scientists understand the effects of environmental change on a planetary scale. As you rest, imagine layers of time folding gently together. Ancient forests, medieval villages, modern cities, and future landscapes, all connected by wings passing overhead. Birds have witnessed Earth's transformations, quietly adapting without complaint. Their long history teaches patience. Survival is not about dominance, but about balance and flexibility. As we continue our calm journey, we now follow birds into the quiet mystery of navigation. Migration is not simply movement. It is direction, timing, and memory woven together with extraordinary precision. Yet, for all its complexity, bird navigation unfolds without haste, guided by natural cues that have existed long before modern maps or technology. Each year, migratory birds depart familiar breeding grounds and travel toward distant destinations they may never have seen before. Young birds often make these journeys without guidance from parents, relying instead on inherited instincts and environmental signals. This ability has fascinated scientists for generations and continues to inspire research across biology. One of the most important navigation tools birds use is the sun. During daylight hours, many species maintain a steady course by tracking the sun's position in the sky. Their internal biological clocks allow them to compensate for the sun's movement, adjusting direction as the day progresses. This time-compensated solar navigation is remarkably accurate. At night, the stars take over. Nocturnal migrants, such as warblers and thrushes, orient themselves using constellations and the rotation of the night sky. Studies have shown that birds raised in planetariums learn star patterns and use them later during migration. This gentle reliance on celestial cues connects birds to astronomy in a deeply poetic way. Beyond the sky, birds also sense Earth itself. Many species can detect the planet's magnetic field, using it as a kind of internal compass. Specialized cells in their eyes and beaks are thought to help interpret magnetic information, allowing birds to determine direction even on cloudy days or over open ocean. This magnetic sense does not provide a map, but rather a general orientation. It works best when combined with other cues, creating a layered navigation system that increases reliability. Redundancy ensures that if one signal becomes unclear, others remain available. Landmarks also play an important role. Rivers, coastlines, mountain ranges, and deserts act as visual guides. Birds traveling across continents often follow these features, tracing routes shaped by geography and climate. These paths, known as flyways, are used by millions of birds year after year. Major flyways span the globe. The East Atlantic Flyway connects Europe and Africa. The Pacific Flyway runs along the western edge of the Americas. These routes reflect ancient patterns of movement that align with food availability and seasonal change. Stopover sites along these flyways are essential. Wetlands, forests, and coastal areas provide places for birds to rest and refuel. Without these pauses, long migrations would not be possible. This is why conservation of key habitats has global importance. From an economic and tourism perspective, stopover regions often become hotspots for birdwatching. Communities near wetlands or migration corridors benefit from nature-based travel, supporting sustainable development and environmental education. Birds also navigate using sound and smell. Others listen for familiar environmental sounds such as waves or wind patterns when approaching land. Experience improves navigation. Older birds tend to migrate more efficiently, making fewer detours and arriving earlier. They carry mental maps shaped by past journeys, demonstrating learning and memory in action. Climate influences migration timing. As temperatures shift and seasons change, birds adjust departure dates and routes. These changes provide valuable data for scientists studying global climate patterns. Despite challenges, most birds complete their journeys successfully. Their navigation systems are resilient, refined over thousands of generations. They do not rush. They follow cues, adapt calmly, and continue. As you rest, imagine a bird flying beneath the night sky, stars slowly turning overhead. It moves steadily, without doubt or anxiety, guided by quiet signals it has learned to trust. As we move gently onward, we now turn our attention inward to the quiet physical design that allows birds to travel such astonishing distances. From the ground, flight can seem effortless, but it's supported by a finely tuned balance of strength, lightness, and efficiency. Every part of a bird's body contributes to this harmony, working together in calm coordination. One of the most remarkable features is a bird's skeleton. While it looks delicate, it's incredibly strong. Many bones are actually hollow, filled with air instead of marrow. This simple but brilliant design reduces weight without sacrificing structural integrity. Internal struts reinforce these bones, creating a framework that's both light and durable. This elegant design has even inspired architects and engineers in aviation and modern construction. The breastbone, or keel, is especially important. It anchors the powerful flight muscles that drive the wings. In strong flyers like geese or swans, these muscles can make up a huge portion of their total body weight. Yet, they operate with extraordinary efficiency, converting energy into sustained motion over long distances. Bird muscles are rich in oxygen-carrying proteins, which lets them work continuously without tiring quickly. Their hearts are also large for their body size, pumping oxygenated blood rapidly to meet the intense demands of flight. This efficient circulation is what supports their incredible endurance, especially during migration. Even the way birds breathe is different from us. They have a system of air sacs that allows oxygen to flow continuously through the lungs, even when they're exhaling. This one-way airflow ensures a constant supply of fresh oxygen, supporting high energy output while maintaining a calm breathing rhythm. Of course, we can't forget the feathers. They play multiple roles. Stiff, asymmetrical flight feathers push air downward and backward, creating lift. Contour feathers streamline the body to reduce drag. And soft down feathers trap air close to the skin, providing vital insulation during cold nights at high altitude. Wing shape also varies depending on a bird's lifestyle. Long, narrow wings are perfect for soaring birds that travel vast distances, like albatrosses. Short, rounded wings allow for quick takeoffs and maneuverability, which is useful in dense forests. These variations are beautiful examples of adaptation to different environments and travel needs. Birds are also masters of energy management. During migration, many species store fat, sometimes doubling their body weight before they leave. Fat provides more energy per gram than anything else, making it the perfect fuel for long flights. This stored energy is used gradually, allowing them to cross oceans or deserts without stopping. Even sleep adapts during migration. Some birds can rest one half of their brain at a time, a trick called unihemispheric sleep. This lets them stay alert to danger while conserving energy. In some cases, birds even sleep briefly while gliding, maintaining altitude without flapping their wings. Altitude choice is another key factor. Many migratory birds fly at heights where air resistance is lower and the winds are favorable. Some species travel thousands of meters above sea level, where it's cold, but the conditions are perfect for efficient long-distance travel. They also sense changes in air pressure and wind, often waiting for just the right conditions to start their journey. This patience reduces risk and saves precious energy. From a technological standpoint, studying bird flight has influenced everything from aviation design to drone technology and fuel efficiency research. Observing how birds adjust their wing shape mid-flight has led to innovations in adaptive wing structures. Culturally, the sight of migrating birds has inspired poetry, art, and philosophy for centuries. Their steady movement symbolizes endurance, freedom, and the beautiful continuity of life. Many travelers feel a sense of comfort seeing these familiar patterns, linking their own journeys with these ancient rhythms. Economically, regions along migration routes even benefit from seasonal tourism, as people plan trips just to witness these incredible spectacles. So, as you rest, take a moment to imagine the quiet strength inside a bird's body as it glides across an open landscape. No strain, no urgency, just perfect balance, breath, and motion working together in beautiful harmony. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the natural world. As our journey continues, we now follow the gentle paths birds take across the planet. Migration is not a single pattern shared by all species. Instead, it is a collection of strategies shaped by geography, climate, food availability, and history. Each route tells a quiet story about Earth itself. Some birds migrate only short distances. These are known as partial or altitudinal migrants. They may move from mountain slopes down into valleys as winter approaches, following warmth and accessible food. This kind of movement is subtle and often unnoticed, yet it reflects careful timing and local knowledge passed through generations. Other birds undertake medium-distance migrations, traveling from temperate regions into warmer zones. Many European birds, for example, move south into the Mediterranean basin or northern Africa. These journeys link ecosystems and cultures across borders, quietly connecting economies, landscapes, and seasons. Then there are the long-distance migrants whose journeys stretch across continents and oceans. These birds follow ancient flyways shaped by wind patterns, coastlines, and mountain ranges. Their movement forms one of the most impressive natural spectacles on Earth. Flyways act like invisible highways in the sky. Along them, birds encounter familiar stopover points where wetlands, forests, and coastal zones provide food and rest. These locations are essential. Without them, migration would not be possible. This is why protecting wetlands has become a global conservation priority, supporting both biodiversity and sustainable tourism. One of the most famous migration routes is the African-Eurasian flyway. Each year, billions of birds travel between Europe, Asia, and Africa, crossing deserts, seas, and mountain ranges. The Sahara Desert presents one of the most demanding sections of this journey. Birds often fly non-stop for days, relying entirely on stored energy. Across the Americas, the Pacific and Atlantic flyways guide birds from the Arctic down to Central and South America. Along these routes, coastal estuaries and river deltas become vital resting places. Communities near these areas often develop strong cultural connections to bird migration, celebrating seasonal arrivals with festivals and educational programs. Some birds migrate in large flocks, moving together in coordinated formations. Geese, flying in V-shaped patterns, reduce air resistance, allowing individuals to conserve energy. This cooperation reflects how shared movement can benefit the whole group, a lesson echoed in human travel and logistics systems. Other birds migrate alone, navigating vast distances independently. Solitary migrants rely more heavily on internal cues and learned routes. Their journeys are quieter, but no less remarkable. Timing is everything. Birds adjust migration schedules to match peak food availability at their destinations. Arriving too early can mean cold conditions and scarce resources. Arriving too late can mean competition for nesting sites. This precision reflects careful synchronization with environmental cycles. Daytime and nighttime migration strategies vary. Many small songbirds migrate at night when temperatures are cooler and predators fewer. Flying under the stars also allows clearer navigation cues. During the day, these birds rest and feed, conserving energy. Large soaring birds often migrate during the day, using rising warm air currents called thermals. These invisible columns of air allow birds to gain altitude without flapping, gliding long distances with minimal effort. This efficient travel mirrors modern approaches to energy conservation and sustainability. Not all migration follows a straight line. Some birds take looped routes, traveling north along one path and south along another. These circular patterns allow birds to take advantage of seasonal wind systems, reducing effort and travel time. Climate change is influencing migration routes and timing. Warmer temperatures can cause earlier departures or delayed returns. While birds are adaptable, rapid environmental changes can disrupt long-established patterns. Monitoring these shifts provides valuable insights into global climate systems. From an educational perspective, migration studies combine biology, geography, and environmental science. Students learn how natural systems interact on a planetary scale. This interdisciplinary learning supports deeper understanding of nature's interconnectedness. Migration also carries emotional meaning for many people. Seeing the first returning birds in spring or the last departing flocks in autumn often marks personal transitions. These moments invite reflection and awareness of time passing gently. As you rest, imagine following one bird's route from a quiet northern forest to a sunlit southern shoreline. The journey unfolds without urgency, guided by wind, light, and memory. As we continue gently forward, we now listen more closely to the world of birds. Migration and daily life would not be possible without communication. Birds speak to one another constantly, not with words, but with sound, movement, and subtle signals that travel through forests, coastlines, and open skies. These communications are calm, efficient, and deeply woven into survival. Bird calls are different from birdsong. Calls are usually short and simple. They serve practical purposes, such as warning of danger, maintaining contact during flight, or signaling readiness to move. During migration, contact calls help flocks stay together, especially in low visibility or darkness. Many migratory birds fly at night and use soft, high-pitched calls to keep track of one another. These sounds are often beyond the range of human hearing, blending into the background of the night sky. Scientists studying nighttime migration use sensitive microphones to detect these calls, mapping invisible rivers of movement overhead. Birdsong, on the other hand, is more complex and musical. Songs are typically associated with breeding, territory, defense, and attraction. Each species has its own patterns, rhythms, and tones. Some songs are learned, passed from one generation to the next, like cultural traditions. In some species, young birds learn songs by listening to adults during a critical period early in life. This learning process is similar to language acquisition in humans. It highlights how education and communication are deeply rooted in biology. Regional dialects exist among birds. The same species may sing slightly different versions of a song depending on location. These differences reflect geography, isolation, and local culture, mirroring how human accents develop over distance. Visual communication is equally important. Wing movements, tail positions, and posture convey information about mood, intention, or readiness to mate. During flight, subtle changes in wing beats can signal shifts in direction, helping flocks move as one. Feather coloration also plays a communicative role. Bright colors may indicate health and vitality, while patterns can serve as recognition signals. In many species, only males display vivid colors, a result of evolutionary pressures linked to mate selection. Some birds communicate through synchronized movement. Murmurations of starlings are a striking example. Thousands of birds move together in flowing shapes, responding instantly to neighbors. This collective behavior reduces predation risk and demonstrates how simple rules can create complex patterns. From a technological perspective, studying these group movements has influenced research in swarm robotics and artificial intelligence. Engineers observe how birds coordinate without central control, applying these principles to traffic flow, drone coordination, and network systems. Sound travels differently depending on environment. In dense forests, low-frequency sounds carry farther, while open landscapes favor higher frequencies. Birds adapt their calls to suit their habitats, optimizing communication with minimal energy. Urban environments introduce new challenges. Traffic noise and human activity can interfere with bird communication. Some species adjust by singing louder or at different pitches. This flexibility demonstrates adaptability in rapidly changing environments shaped by human economy and development. Bird communication also plays a role in navigation. Calls exchanged during flight help maintain formation and reduce energy costs. In species that migrate in family groups, communication reinforces social bonds that support learning and survival. Culturally, birdsong has inspired music, meditation practices, and relaxation spaces worldwide. Many wellness retreats and luxury eco-resorts incorporate natural soundscapes to promote calm and rest. The human nervous system often responds positively to these sounds, lowering stress and encouraging sleep. Listening to birds has become part of modern mindfulness and sleep routines. Audio recordings of forest dawns or coastal evenings are used in sleep-friendly media, blending education with relaxation. Historically, people used bird calls as cues for daily activities. Farmers listened for seasonal songs, signaling planting or harvesting times. Fishermen watch seabirds to locate fish. These relationships connected livelihoods directly to wildlife behavior. As you rest, imagine a soft chorus of distant calls drifting through the night air. Each sound carries meaning, yet none demand attention. They simply exist, guiding movement and maintaining connection. As our calm journey continues, we now follow birds as they settle into the places that sustain them. Flight and migration may capture our imagination, but rest is just as essential. Habitats are the quiet foundations of bird life, offering food, shelter, and safety at every stage of the journey. These places are not random. They are shaped by geography, climate, and long-standing ecological balance. Breeding habitats are often chosen with great care. Many birds return each year to the same nesting areas, guided by memory and instinct. These locations provide the right combination of food availability, protection from predators, and suitable nesting materials. Forests, grasslands, wetlands, and coastal cliffs each support different bird communities. In northern regions, breeding seasons are short but intense. Birds arrive as daylight lengthens and insects become abundant. The timing must be precise. Chicks need enough food to grow quickly before colder conditions return. This synchronization reflects the delicate connection between birds and seasonal cycles. Wetlands are among the most important habitats for birds worldwide. Marshes, swamps, and estuaries support enormous biodiversity. They provide feeding grounds rich in insects, fish, and plant life. During migration, wetlands act as essential stopover sites, allowing birds to replenish energy reserves. Coastal habitats offer similar importance. Mudflats and tidal zones expose food sources as tides rise and fall. Shorebirds time their feeding with these rhythms, moving calmly across exposed flats. These areas often become centers for ecotourism, attracting travelers interested in wildlife and natural beauty. Grasslands and savannas support birds adapted to open landscapes. Species here rely on camouflage, ground nesting, and keen vision. These habitats are closely linked to agriculture and grazing practices, demonstrating how human land use can either support or challenge bird populations. Forests provide vertical space. From forest floor to canopy, birds occupy different layers, each with its own resources. This vertical diversity allows many species to coexist without competition. Old-growth forests are particularly valuable, offering nesting cavities and stable microclimates. Urban habitats have become increasingly important. Parks, gardens, and green rooftops offer refuge in cities shaped by economy and development. Some birds thrive in these environments, benefiting from consistent food sources and fewer natural predators. Wintering habitats differ from breeding grounds. Many migratory birds spend winters in warmer regions where food remains available year-round. These areas may include tropical forests, coastal zones, or agricultural landscapes. Stability here is just as important as breeding success. Habitat loss remains one of the greatest challenges birds face. Wetland drainage, deforestation, and urban expansion reduce available resting and feeding areas. Conservation efforts now focus on protecting networks of habitats rather than isolated sites. Protected areas such as national parks and wildlife reserves play a vital role. They preserve ecosystems that support birds and provide opportunities for education, research, and sustainable tourism. Visitors often gain a deeper appreciation for nature through these experiences. Community-based conservation has also proven effective. When local economies benefit from bird-related tourism, there is greater incentive to protect habitats. This balance between economy and ecology supports long-term sustainability. From an educational standpoint, Studying bird habitats helps people understand broader environmental systems. It highlights how water quality, soil health, and vegetation all influence wildlife. These lessons extend beyond birds, shaping approaches to land management and conservation. Culturally, certain habitats hold symbolic meaning. Wetlands are seen as places of renewal. Forests represent shelter and continuity. Coasts mark transition and travel. Birds moving through these spaces reinforce their emotional resonance. As you rest, imagine a quiet place where a bird pauses after a long journey. Perhaps it is a reed-filled marsh, glowing in soft light, or a calm forest clearing where leaves barely move. These places exist not for speed, but for balance. As we continue our slow and steady journey, we now turn to the long relationship between birds and humanity. For as long as people have looked upward, birds have been part of our stories, economies, and sense of wonder. Their presence has quietly shaped cultures, travel, and knowledge across continents and centuries. In early human societies, birds were among the most visible wild animals. They moved freely between land and sky, often appearing to cross boundaries humans could not. This ability inspired myths and spiritual beliefs. Many cultures viewed birds as messengers, guardians, or symbols of freedom and renewal. Ancient civilizations carefully observed birds. In Mesopotamia, Greece, and Rome, bird behavior was believed to offer insight into future events. While these interpretations were symbolic rather than scientific, they reflect humanity's early effort to understand patterns in nature. Birds also played practical roles in early economies. Coastal communities watched seabirds to locate fish schools. Farmers learned seasonal cycles by observing migration and nesting behavior. These observations supported food security and travel planning long before modern forecasting tools existed. Feathers became valuable resources. They were used for insulation, decoration, writing instruments, and ceremonial clothing. The trade of feathers connected distant regions, influencing early commerce and craftsmanship. In some periods, demand for feathers was so high that it affected bird populations, leading to early conservation awareness. With the rise of global exploration, birds became markers of discovery. Sailors crossing unknown waters watched for land birds as signs of approaching shore. These sightings offered reassurance and guided navigation, linking bird observation with maritime travel and safety. In art and literature, birds appear as recurring motifs. From ancient cave paintings to Renaissance art and modern poetry, birds symbolize movement, hope, and the passage of time. Their quiet presence often conveys peace and continuity. Scientific understanding grew gradually. Early naturalists documented bird species during expeditions, contributing to the foundations of biology and education. These records expanded global knowledge and fostered appreciation for biodiversity. The invention of binoculars and field guides made birdwatching more accessible. What began as a scientific pursuit evolved into a popular pastime enjoyed by people of all ages. Today, birdwatching supports a global tourism industry worth billions, benefiting rural communities and conservation efforts. Bird migration festivals are held worldwide. Communities celebrate seasonal arrivals with guided walks, educational talks, and cultural events. These gatherings blend nature, culture, and economy, demonstrating how wildlife can enrich human life without exploitation. Birds have also influenced technology. Early aviation pioneers studied bird flight to understand, lift, and control. Observations of wings, feathers, and soaring behavior informed the development of airplanes and gliders. Even modern drone design continues to draw inspiration from birds. In agriculture, birds play complex roles. Some species help control pests, reducing the need for chemical interventions. Others spread seeds, supporting plant diversity and ecosystem health. Recognizing these benefits has shaped sustainable farming practices. Urban planning increasingly considers bird life. Green corridors, rooftop gardens, and wildlife-friendly architecture reflect a growing awareness of shared spaces. These designs improve quality of life for both humans and birds, blending development with nature. Education systems often use birds as entry points for teaching biology, ecology, and geography. Their visibility and accessibility make them ideal subjects for learning about ecosystems and environmental responsibility. Birds also influence mental well-being. Studies suggest that exposure to birdsong and natural environments can reduce stress and improve mood. This connection explains why many wellness retreats and travel destinations emphasize natural soundscapes and wildlife encounters. As you rest, imagine generations of people pausing to watch birds pass overhead. Different languages, cultures, and eras, all connected by the same quiet motion across the sky. Birds do not belong to any one place or time. They move freely, reminding us of shared experiences that cross boundaries. As our journey drifts onward, we now explore the remarkable diversity of birds that share our planet. There are more than 10,000 known bird species, each shaped by environment, history, and quiet adaptation. This variety is not chaotic. It unfolds gently, like a long story told in many voices, each one suited to a particular place. At one end of the scale is the bee hummingbird, the smallest bird in the world. Found primarily in Cuba, it weighs less than a coin and hovers delicately as it feeds on nectar. Its wings beat so rapidly they create a soft hum, a sound often associated with calm gardens and tropical warmth. Despite its size, it migrates locally, demonstrating that even the smallest travelers follow seasonal rhythms. At the other extreme stands the ostrich, native to African savannas. Unable to fly, it has evolved powerful legs, instead capable of covering long distances across open land. This adaptation reflects how flight is only one solution among many. Birds succeed not because they all fly, but because they adapt efficiently to their environments. Between these extremes lies a gentle spectrum of forms. Songbirds fill forests and cities with sound. Waterfowl glide across lakes and wetlands. Raptors soar silently above mountains and plains. Each group occupies its own ecological role, contributing to balance within ecosystems. Beaks are among the most telling features of bird diversity. Shape and size reveal diet and lifestyle. Thin, pointed beaks suit insect hunters. Broad, flat beaks help strain food from water. Strong, curved beaks allow birds to crack seeds or tear flesh. These designs inspired early studies in evolution and continue to support education in biology. Feather coloration varies widely. Some birds blend seamlessly into their surroundings, relying on camouflage for safety. Others display vivid colors used in courtship and recognition. These colors result from pigments and microscopic feather structures that reflect light, an area of study connecting biology and physics. Bird diversity also reflects geography. Island ecosystems often host unique species found nowhere else. These species are often fragile, making conservation particularly important. In tropical regions, bird diversity reaches its peak. Stable climates and abundant resources allow many species to coexist. Rainforests, though covering a small portion of Earth's surface, support a significant percentage of bird species worldwide. Temperate regions host fewer species, but migration increases seasonal diversity. A single location may host different birds throughout the year, each arriving at a precise moment. This dynamic diversity adds rhythm to landscapes and travel experiences. Culturally, different birds hold special meaning in different regions. Cranes symbolize longevity in parts of Asia. Eagles represent strength and vision in many cultures. These associations influence art, national symbols, and storytelling. From a tourism perspective, bird diversity attracts travelers seeking unique experiences. Birding destinations often promote rare or endemic species, supporting local economies while encouraging habitat protection. Scientific naming of birds reflects global collaboration. Latin names allow researchers across countries to communicate clearly, supporting education and conservation efforts worldwide. Bird diversity also offers insight into environmental health. Changes in species composition can signal shifts in climate, pollution levels, or habitat quality. Monitoring birds provides early warnings of broader ecological change. As you rest, imagine a slow journey across continents, each region offering a new bird, a new sound, a new shape in the sky. None rush, each belongs exactly where it is. As we move gently onward, we now explore how birds live in harmony with the changing seasons. Across the planet, light, temperature, and weather shift in steady cycles. Birds respond, not with resistance, but with adjustment. Their adaptations are calm, efficient, and deeply rooted in natural rhythms. Seasonal change begins with light. Day length is one of the most reliable signals in nature, and birds are highly sensitive to it. As days grow longer or shorter, internal processes adjust quietly. Hormones shift, preparing birds for migration, breeding, or rest. This reliance on light allows birds to anticipate change rather than react to it. In spring, increasing daylight triggers breeding behavior. Birds begin to sing more frequently, establish territories, and build nests. These actions are not rushed. They unfold gradually, ensuring that chicks will hatch when food is most abundant. This timing reflects precise alignment with insect life cycles and plant growth. Feather molting often follows breeding season. Old feathers are replaced with new ones, restoring insulation and flight efficiency. Molting requires energy, so it is carefully scheduled during periods of relative abundance. Some birds undergo subtle color changes, shifting to duller tones for non-breeding seasons, providing camouflage and conserving energy. As summer fades into autumn, preparation for migration begins. Birds increase food intake, storing fat beneath their skin. This process, known as hyperphagia, is a temporary phase that supports long-distance travel. Despite the increased feeding, activity remains balanced and purposeful. In regions where birds do not migrate, winter adaptations become essential. Feathers fluff to trap insulating air. Metabolism slows in some species, conserving energy during cold nights. Birds seek sheltered roosting sites, often gathering in groups to share warmth. Food storage is another strategy. Species such as jays and chickadees cache seeds in hidden locations. Remarkably, they remember these sites months later, even under snow. This memory supports survival when resources are scarce. Some birds adjust diet seasonally. Insects may dominate summer diets, while seeds and berries become important in winter. Flexible feeding behavior allows birds to thrive in varied conditions without dramatic movement. Behavior also changes with season. Singing decreases outside breeding periods, conserving energy and reducing attention from predators. Activity levels become more measured, aligning with daylight availability. In extreme environments, adaptations become more pronounced. Arctic birds endure long winters of darkness and cold. Some remain active throughout, while others migrate vast distances. Their survival depends on efficient energy use and precise timing. Climate variability introduces new challenges. Unpredictable weather patterns can disrupt traditional schedules. While many birds show remarkable flexibility, rapid environmental change tests the limits of adaptation. Studying these responses helps scientists understand resilience in natural systems. From a human perspective, seasonal bird behavior has long served as a calendar. The arrival of certain species signals planting times, fishing seasons, or weather shifts. These natural cues remain relevant in rural communities worldwide. Travel experiences often align with these seasonal patterns. Tourists plan visits to witness migrations, breeding displays, or winter gatherings. This seasonal tourism supports conservation funding and environmental education. Seasonal adaptation also influences soundscapes. Spring mornings are filled with song, while winter landscapes feel quieter. These changes shape emotional responses to place, contributing to a sense of time passing gently. As you rest, imagine a bird settling into the season it knows well. No urgency, no struggle, just a quiet adjustment to light, temperature, and opportunity. As our calm exploration continues, we now follow the invisible maps birds carry within them. Navigation is one of the most quietly remarkable aspects of bird life. Without signs, roads, or technology, birds find their way across oceans, deserts, and continents with steady precision. This ability feels almost magical, yet it is grounded in science and careful adaptation. One of the primary tools birds use is the sun. During daytime migration, many species orient themselves by the sun's position in the sky. They compensate for its movement across the day using an internal sense of time. This biological clock allows birds to maintain direction even as the sun shifts. At night, stars become guides. Studies show that birds recognize patterns of stars rather than individual points of light. The rotation of the night sky around the North Star provides, especially in the northern hemisphere. Young birds learn these patterns during early life stages, imprinting the sky as a map. The Earth's magnetic field also plays a key role. Birds possess a magnetic sense, allowing them to detect direction and, in some cases, geographic position. Specialized cells in their eyes and beaks respond to magnetic signals, creating an internal compass that functions even in cloudy conditions. This magnetic navigation is subtle and unconscious. Birds do not appear to think about direction in the way humans do. Instead, orientation emerges naturally, guided by sensory input integrated seamlessly. Landmarks provide additional guidance. Coastlines, rivers, mountain ranges, and even highways can serve as reference points. Experienced birds refine their routes over time, learning the safest and most efficient paths. This learning process reflects memory and adaptability. Smell may also contribute to navigation in certain species. Some seabirds use scent cues carried by wind to locate nesting sites or feeding areas. This ability connects navigation to atmospheric conditions and ocean currents. Navigation is not perfect. Young birds occasionally drift off course, especially during their first migration. However, natural correction mechanisms often guide them back toward suitable habitats. Over generations, successful routes become reinforced through survival. From a technological perspective, bird navigation has inspired innovation. Research into magnetic sensing has influenced navigation tools and sensor design. Observations of route efficiency inform studies in logistics and transportation planning. Education systems often use bird navigation as an example of interdisciplinary science. Physics, biology, geography, and environmental studies intersect in this topic, making it a powerful teaching tool. Culturally, the idea of innate direction has inspired stories and metaphors about finding one's way in life. Birds returning home year after year symbolize stability and trust in natural guidance. Migration tracking technology, such as satellite tags and geolocators, has deepened scientific understanding. These tools reveal routes and stopovers with remarkable detail, supporting conservation, planning, and international cooperation. Navigation also influences conservation priorities. Protecting corridors along migration routes ensures that birds can continue using familiar paths. This approach emphasizes connectivity rather than isolated protection. As you rest, imagine a bird flying steadily beneath a quiet sky. No hesitation, no urgency, just gentle alignment with forces older than memory. As we continue gently forward, we now acknowledge the quieter challenges birds face in the modern world. These challenges do not arrive all at once, nor do they define bird life entirely. Instead, they move slowly, like shifts in weather patterns, influencing how birds adapt, rest, and continue their ancient routines. One of the most significant changes birds encounter is habitat transformation. Expanding cities, roads, and agriculture reshape landscapes that once offered nesting sites and feeding grounds. While some birds adapt to urban environments, others depend on very specific conditions that are harder to replace. Light pollution affects birds in subtle ways. Artificial lighting can disrupt natural cycles, especially for migratory species that rely on stars for navigation. Bright city lights sometimes draw birds off course, particularly during nighttime migration. Efforts to reduce unnecessary lighting during migration seasons have shown positive results. Noise pollution also alters bird behavior. Constant sound from traffic or industry can interfere with communication, making it harder for birds to hear calls or songs. Some species respond by adjusting pitch or timing, while others avoid noisy areas altogether. Climate change introduces gradual but persistent shifts. Warmer temperatures can alter food availability, breeding timing, and migration schedules. In some regions, birds arrive earlier in spring, while in others, traditional food sources peak at unexpected times. Despite these changes, birds show remarkable resilience. Flexibility in diet, behavior, and timing allows many species to adjust without dramatic disruption. This adaptability offers valuable lessons in resilience and balance. Conservation efforts increasingly focus on coexistence. Urban green spaces, wildlife corridors, and protected wetlands help birds navigate human-dominated landscapes. These initiatives often improve quality of life for people as well, creating quieter, greener environments. Technology plays a supportive role. Bird-friendly building designs reduce collision risk. Wind energy projects are planned with migration routes in mind. These measures demonstrate how technology and nature can align thoughtfully. Education remains central to conservation's success. When people understand bird behavior and needs, they are more likely to support protective measures. Bird watching programs, school initiatives, and community science projects foster connection and awareness. Economically, bird conservation supports sustainable tourism. Travelers seeking calm, nature-based experiences contribute to local economies while encouraging habitat protection. This balance benefits both wildlife and communities. International cooperation is essential. Migration routes cross borders, linking distant regions through shared responsibility. Agreements between countries help protect critical habitats along entire flyways. Culturally, birds continue to inspire hope and continuity. Their persistence reminds us that change does not always mean loss. With care and awareness, adaptation can lead to renewed balance. As you rest, imagine a bird adjusting quietly to a new landscape. It does not resist change. It observes, adapts, and continues. As our journey moves softly onward, we now turn toward the many quiet ways humans support birds around the world. These efforts are often simple, patient, and thoughtful, woven into daily life rather than dramatic gestures. Together, they form a calm partnership between people and the birds that share our skies. One of the most common forms of support begins at home. Gardens, balconies, and small green spaces can become valuable resting points for birds. Native plants provide natural food sources such as seeds, nectar, and insects. Even in busy cities shaped by economy and development, These small patches of nature create meaningful refuge. Bird feeders are another gentle aid, especially in colder months. When placed thoughtfully and cleaned regularly, they supplement natural food without creating dependence. Watching birds visit a feeder has become a quiet ritual for many people, blending relaxation with education. Water is equally important. Shallow bird baths offer places to drink and bathe, helping birds maintain feather health. In warm climates or during dry seasons, reliable water sources can be essential. These simple features also enhance the calm atmosphere of outdoor spaces. Architectural design increasingly considers birds. Window decals, patterned glass, and angled surfaces reduce collisions, one of the most common urban threats to birds. These design choices demonstrate how technology and awareness can work together seamlessly. Green roofs and vertical gardens add another layer of support. By incorporating vegetation into buildings, cities create new habitats without sacrificing space. These designs also improve air quality, reduce heat, and enhance urban living, benefiting both birds and people. On a larger scale, protected areas remain fundamental. National parks, wildlife reserves, and marine sanctuaries preserve critical habitats. These spaces also serve as destinations for ecotourism, supporting local economies while encouraging respect for nature. Community science projects invite people to participate directly in bird research. Counting birds, tracking migration dates, or reporting sightings contributes valuable data to scientists. This shared effort strengthens the connection between education and conservation. Farmers and land managers play a key role as well. Wildlife-friendly practices, such as maintaining hedgerows or reducing chemical use, support bird populations while sustaining agricultural productivity. These approaches reflect a balance between economy and ecology. Culturally, birds inspire stewardship. Festivals, art installations, and storytelling traditions keep awareness alive. When birds are valued as part of cultural identity, protection becomes a shared priority. Travel experiences centered on birds often emphasize calm observation rather than disturbance. Guided walks, observation hides, and ethical viewing practices ensure minimal impact. These experiences offer relaxation and learning, aligning well with mindful tourism. Education programs for children introduce birds as familiar neighbors rather than distant wildlife. Early exposure fosters curiosity and respect, shaping future attitudes toward conservation. Technology continues to support these efforts. Apps help identify species, track migration, and share knowledge globally. This accessibility makes learning about birds part of everyday life. As you rest, imagine countless small actions happening quietly across the world. A window made safer, A garden planted thoughtfully. A person pausing to watch a bird in silence. Together, these moments form a steady current of care. As our quiet journey nears its final stretch, we now explore the deep connection between birds and human rest. Across cultures and environments, birds have long been associated with calm, safety, and the gentle passing of time. Their presence, especially through sound, plays a subtle but powerful role in relaxation and sleep. Birdsong is often described as one of nature's most soothing sounds. The patterns are complex yet predictable, creating a sense of order without demand. Morning songs gently signal the start of day, while evening calls soften the transition into night. These rhythms align naturally with human circadian cycles. Scientific studies suggest that natural soundscapes, including birdsong, reduce stress and promote relaxation. Compared to mechanical noise, bird sounds are varied but not intrusive. They allow the mind to wander without alertness, supporting restful states. Different birds contribute different moods. Soft coos, distant calls, and light chirps blend into a calming background. Even silence between calls holds value, creating space for breathing and rest. This balance mirrors the pacing used in calming educational narration. Bird presence also signals environmental health. Hearing birds often reassures the mind that a place is safe and stable. This subconscious association may explain why birds are commonly featured in relaxation retreats, luxury resorts, and wellness travel destinations. Visually, watching birds encourages mindfulness. Their slow movements, gentle preening, or quiet perching invite observation without urgency. This form of attention aligns with meditation practices and supports mental well-being. Culturally, birds are often woven into lullabies and bedtime stories. These traditions reinforce early associations between birds and sleep, embedding calm responses that persist into adulthood. In architecture and landscape design, bird-friendly spaces are often designed for tranquility. Courtyards, water features, and gardens attract birds while providing peaceful environments for people. These spaces blend nature, culture, and thoughtful design. Birds also influence nighttime calm indirectly. Diurnal species settle at dusk, creating a sense of closure for the day. Their retreat signals rest, allowing quieter nocturnal sounds to emerge. In contrast, nocturnal birds contribute softly to nighttime soundscapes. Gentle calls echo across still air, adding depth without disturbance. These sounds often feel distant and reassuring rather than startling. For travelers, bird-rich environments often feel more restorative. Resorts and retreats highlight natural surroundings where birds are part of the experience. This connection enhances relaxation and encourages slower, more mindful travel. Educational content featuring birds, especially when narrated calmly, supports sleep by engaging curiosity without stimulation. Bird observation before sleep can become a ritual. Watching a bird settle into roost or listening to evening calls signals the body to slow down. These simple habits support consistent sleep routines. As you rest now, imagine a quiet evening. The last light fades. Birds settle. The air feels still and safe. As our gentle journey comes to its natural close, we return to the simple presence of birds in the world around us. From the first soft wing beat to the final evening call, birds have guided us through stories of movement, rest, and balance. They have carried us across continents, seasons, cultures, and moments of calm. Birds remind us that motion does not have to be hurried. Migration unfolds over weeks and months. Nesting follows patient preparation. Rest is not an interruption, but a necessary and respected phase of life. In their rhythms, we see a quieter way of being. Throughout this journey, we have explored how birds navigate vast distances, adapt to seasonal change, and find safe places to pause. We have seen how habitats support them, how humans and birds have shaped one another's histories, and how gentle care allows both to thrive together. Birds connect the local and the global. A small songbird in a garden may be part of a migration route, stretching across continents. This connection reflects a shared planet, where actions in one place quietly influence life elsewhere. In education, birds offer accessible lessons about ecology, geography, and resilience. In travel, they draw people toward calmer experiences rooted in nature rather than speed. In culture, they appear in stories, art, and symbols that speak of hope and continuity. Economically, birds support sustainable tourism and local livelihoods when respected thoughtfully. Their presence enhances destinations not through spectacle, but through atmosphere and meaning. This balance between value and care reflects a more mindful approach to growth. In moments of stress or restlessness, birds offer grounding. Watching a bird perch or listening to distant calls gently redirects attention outward, easing the mind. This effect does not require effort. It arrives naturally, like sleep itself. As this narration softens towards silence, imagine a bird at rest, feathers settled, breathing slow, the world quiet but alive. Nothing more is required. You may now allow your thoughts to drift, knowing that beyond walls and cities, birds continue their calm routines. They will rise with the light, travel when needed, and rest when the time is right. Thank you for sharing this quiet time. Sleep well.